Healthy burrito? Is that an oxymoron or just plain blasphemy? Today we're setting out to determine what a healthy burrito is and make one of our own. So let's start with healthy. What does that mean? Low in calories, less fat, vegetarian? When it comes to a healthy diet or recipe, there isn't necessarily a clear-cut answer. But for burritos, I think that's really just a few small adjustments. Let's start with the tortilla. If you want to go healthy, you can always choose a whole grain or whole wheat tortilla. And in terms of flavor and texture, they're really not that bad. But in my experience, they never roll quite well and they often break instead of bend. And so I'm just gonna skip that because I'm a bit of a burrito enthusiast. That's just a non-starter for me.
Okay, let's talk rice and beans. Beans are easy, especially black beans, because you don't need to soak them overnight. Just toss them in a pan, whatever seasonings you like, easy peasy. Rice, on the other hand, I would typically use white rice, but we're trying to be healthy. So we're gonna go with long grain brown rice. Cook them the same way I would with Mexican rice. Saute it in a little oil first, throw down some hot water, and all of my seasonings.
Let's talk protein. If you've watched some of my other videos, then you know my go-to, or at least my family's favorite, is ground beef. And I typically use ground chuck for that because, well, it has a higher fat content and therefore is delicious. But for today's recipe, we're going to use chicken. Boneless, skinless chicken breast. The only problem with chicken breast is that it tends to dry out faster than a gecko's eyeball in the Sahara Desert. So the trick to employ is brining them. This provides two benefits. Number one, brining adds a lot of flavor, particularly because of the salt. But I also use some brown sugar and peppercorns. And today I'm also using some chiles and some bay leaves. And number two, it keeps the chicken moist and tender so that it doesn't dry out. Now the easy thing to do is just grill the chicken. I always cut them in half lengthwise so they cook fast, add a marinade or a rub, and call it good. But I'm going to make chicken tinga, which is essentially shredded chicken in a chili puree of sorts. So pull the chicken out of the brine, give it a good rinse to clean off any residual salt and such, pat dry, add a quick rub, and then let it hang out for a moment to come to room temperature. And I want to get these down, sear them on each side for a couple minutes, and then add just enough water to almost cover the chicken. Cover and bring to a boil, and then back it down to a low simmer for about 20 minutes. Then turn off the heat and let them stand in the hot water another 10 minutes. Remove and rest another 10 minutes, and then shred with a couple of forks. You should find that they should shred very easily. While this is going on, you want to trim some dried chilies, such as guajillo, ancho, or California. I have some guajillo and California chilies here. I'm going to toast them, then rehydrate them in some of the water that we use to braise the chicken. Don't boil them. The water is still plenty hot, so you just steep them for about 10 or 15 minutes. While they are steeping, you can saute some tomatoes and onions. I would typically go with some canned tomatoes and chilies, salsa style or rotel perhaps, but those cans contain a lot of salt and other ingredients that isn't necessarily healthy. So, fresh tomatoes and onion, then add some of the hot chicken water and simmer for about 5 or 10 minutes. Then add the tomatoes and chilies to a blender with just another splash of the hot water and puree until smooth, about 1 or 2 minutes. Add the shredded chicken and chili puree to a pot and simmer on low for about 10 minutes, or just keep on very low to stay warm while you're preparing the rest of the meal. If you ask my wife, she'll tell you, you can never have enough veggies. If you want to keep your burrito healthy, be sure to load it up with a variety of colorful vegetables like lettuce, tomatoes, onions, bell peppers, and avocados. Okay, dairy. Look, cheese and sour cream are delicious. I love them both, especially sour cream. But if you're looking for a healthy burrito, try to avoid overloading your burrito with excessive amounts of cheese and sour cream or other high-calorie toppings. That said, if you're still looking for some cool, creamy, tangy flavor and texture, you can use Greek yogurt in place of sour cream. I know, it sounds weird, but when you add it to the burrito along with everything else, it's actually pretty indistinguishable. Indistinguishable. Say that 5 times fast. I'm willing to bet that some of your family or friends probably wouldn't know the difference. I'm going to enhance mine with a little bit of lime juice and lime zest and a couple of other ingredients just to get a little extra flavor. I would ordinarily use cheese, but I'm trying to go healthy, so I'm gonna leave that out. But if that's non-negotiable for you, just try to avoid using store-bought or pre-shredded cheese. Those items often contain other ingredients to keep the cheese from sticking together, and who knows what other crap is in there that's just not good for you. Try to use a good quality cheese and grate it yourself. This is probably my favorite ingredient, but if you're looking for a healthy option, try to use fresh salsa or pico de gallo instead of high-calorie hot sauces. These add flavor without excess calories or unhealthy ingredients. Okay, that's really hard for me to say because I love hot sauce. But salsa and pico are really easy to make, and I really enjoy making them anyway. So we're gonna go with the pico de gallo today. Nothing fancy, pretty simple. Tomatoes, onion, some cilantro, and a little bit of jalapeno. Sometimes I add some garlic, but I'm just keeping it simple today. A little salt, pepper, lime juice. I did find this interesting ingredient at a spice store nearby, and I kind of like it. So I'm gonna add it. There's not a lot of salt in it. It's really just some dried chilies and other natural ingredients. But if you don't have it, don't sweat it. Just throw some cumin in there, be good to go. But if you're like me and you're thinking, I want something with an extra punch, then you can just leave the seeds in your chilies and even just add extra chilies to your burrito. Easy, healthy, spicy. And the last thing you can do to add some flavor and some texture without any added calories or ingredients or any of that is really just toast it. And you can do that one of two or both ways. And this is always my go-to. Toast the tortilla on the stove if you have gas. If not, you might have to brave the microwave, but certainly don't use an electric stovetop. I think we've been through that and that's just no bueno. But once you've got it all wrapped up, throw it on a nonstick skillet, no oil needed. Toast it on each side for a minute or so. All right, and now the best part. Let's eat. I think one of the best parts of making burritos is that now we have all these ingredients and we can throw them in a myriad of other dishes. So you can make another burrito, a burrito bowl, maybe some tacos, whatever you like. It's a nice food prep for the week and throws in a little variety as well. I don't know why everyone's doing this. Apparently putting it on top of each other, it's like the cool thing to do. But here you go. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to push all those buttons for more delicious recipes and fun videos. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time.